The most important part of dance is music. So now let us listen to the music and identify the beats.
1, 2, 3.
But that was too soft.
Alright, so here we are again. We have another Star Citizen update. We're heading into 4.2 now, and honestly, I have some worries, but you know, let's pretend that there's nothing wrong really quick and just, you know, kind of take a look at the patch notes here. We're going to start off with the Evocati, just to get an idea of what's going on right now. So what we can see is we have a new type of door that requires, you know, to put on certain clothing in order to access. And we have a new activity, which we now know is Stormbreaker. And it's all looking relatively good, but there are some major issues that come with this, and that being the weather system, which I think is amazing. I love the weather system, but the current implementation of it with the Lazarus centers and all that, whatever the hell they're called, it leaves me wondering about the stability of the game. And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of cool things that have got added, and that includes pulling up vehicles from your freight elevator. With that, right now, it can only be the IC that can be pulled up, which I know what it's actually called, but I'm calling it the IC, thank you very much, which, you know, is decent and cool, I guess. We also have a few new things, like the new Volt shotgun, which seems very, well, interesting. I don't have any real opinions on it that I can share because I haven't gotten to actually try one yet in the PTU. And then we have some buffs to the Starlancer attack in terms of its movement, and a unintended glitch where any ship that has a turret on it can currently control all of its turrets. So that means the one-man Idris has become stronger, and I can only hope that this is in fact a glitch. Some other interesting things, like they made it easier to scan names so that, you know, that terrible fucking license plate change that they made is a little more bearable. And they say some more optimization and polish and stuff like that, but I'm not seeing that right now as of yet. Of course, we have new hair, because we're always going to get new hair, it seems like. And just overall a big push for this new event, which is going to end with a Apex worm. I forget the actual name of it, like the Valkar or whatever the fuck. Which we still haven't seen yet because we've only gotten the first two parts of the mission, and we're in PTU Wave 2 now. And then also not to mention that the new Lazarus Center is supposed to be in Stanton as well, and it's currently only in Pyro. Which again, you know, it's a PTU, I'm sure they'll figure something out, but I have some concerns, and those being, what's the plan moving forward? Because if you ask me, 4.11, even though it was probably one of the better updates we've gotten in a pretty long time, a lot of things were fixed. It still felt like it was kind of rushed out the door, in my opinion. Like, it was a PTU wave, and then the next day, here's the patch, you know? We gotta be ready for Invictus. That kind of scares me in terms of, if we're supposed to be getting, what, like 14 patches this year or something like that? I don't remember the exact number, correct me if I'm wrong. It's a little telling of just the development process that's going on right now. We're kind of just speed running through things right now, and I really wish there was some more forethought put into some of this stuff, and that's where we're going to get into the hexagon theory. Now, what you might have noticed is in these new storms at the Lazarus Center, the only thing that can make it through is the transport vehicle that takes you there and the IC itself. And if you look at these two things, they have a very interesting design choice on them. It's these little hexagonal plates, which I guarantee are a way that in lore they can be like, oh, well, this is the reason why I can survive. From a uncredited source, that being the chat in Star Citizen, it seems like all of the atlases share this trait, not just the new IC. And then on top of that, if you are wanting to maybe steal the IC that's at the Lazarus Center, how do you do that? I tried, but the transportation system, once I got it in there, blew it up. I guess the only way we can get vehicles in this new area is if we pay up for the new ick, which it's not 100% needed for the activity. And I'm wondering if the next parts of the Stormbreaker mission will include the need to have an ick, and if so, that upsets me already because of the debacle with the Geo, where it was semi 100% needed to actually do the orbital laser. I don't like the idea of paywalling things behind a vehicle. And one other thing that someone brought up to me is the ick itself being able to be grabbed in the Lazarus Center but not effectively transported back would imply they're trying to get you to try it out, you know, like here it is, you can try it, see how cool it is, now go buy it. It is what it is. They have to make money, I guess. And I know that's what a lot of people are going to say is like, oh, well, you know, they need to make money. But it feels a little disingenuous to the player, and it just kind of feels like the Geo all over again, and I'm really not a fan of that. But here's where the hexagon theory actually comes into play. What if, hear me out, and this used to be a joke back in the day, what if they start selling these hexagon plates on the add-ons section of the pledge store, and that's the only way you can get ships into the new area? Which I really don't think they're going to do. These new areas are kind of reminding me of CZs in their gameplay, where they're just meant to be ground combat. But in that regard, I would like to wager, why can we not bring Novas? Why can we not bring Centurions or Sentinels or Ballistas? The Ballista would kind of be, you know, redundant since it's anti-air and all that. Why can't we bring these ground vehicles? I've been wanting so long to have a reason to use my Asgard to bring a tank somewhere. I feel like it's a huge missed opportunity. Now, let's talk more on a technical level here with the storms themselves, because as cool as they are, and again, to preface, as cool as they are, the current implementation of them in the Lazarus Center leaves me a little puzzled. Whereas right now, if you were to try to drive a vehicle into it, which 90% of people do because cool storm, your ship will get disabled. It'll become dead in the water. And what it has led to is a fucking graveyard of ships just sitting there in the storm. No one can see them. No one could even perceive them besides seeing all of the license plates when they scan. They insist, oh no, you know, it's another persistence thing where even though it's bad for the health of the game, they're being stubborn about it. When I say bad for the health of the game, I mean the servers are running at a server FPS of 2 to 4. This is like pre 4.0, guys. Like, this is the bad times again, where AI just doesn't work because the server FPS is too low. I don't know about you, even though the AI is, yes, super tough, and sometimes I think it's bullshit, the headshots they get on me, I like the hardness of the AI. I don't like them just not paying attention to me at all because they're too slow thinking right now. And this is also with the fact that we are on 10 DGSs with a cap of 600 players. And the servers are struggling this fucking bad because of the ship graveyard. And another point that was brought up to me is, if you think of it in a bigger scale where if it were to come to live this way, the PTU is a small batch of players compared to PU. So the flood, and I mean flood of people that are going to just be driving their ships into the fucking storm and getting disabled, is going to be insane. We're talking DGS degradation on a mass scale because they refuse to simply let ships disappear. I mean, hell, you can even make a lore reason. I don't care. There's these big acid worms there, you know, just, oh, well, the acid worms, since they are corrosive in nature, eat the leftover ships in the storm, and that's why they disappear. Like, that would be so easy to do, but they won't, because they're stubborn about persistence. They have been stubborn about persistence. I think persistence is cool. What I don't think is cool is when you add a new mechanic that requires you to declothe completely and people are leaving their armor boxes fucking everywhere. And it's cluttering up the server. It's degrading. I cannot insist enough of how bad this design is. especially with the fact that right now there's no like, hey, go scavenge this player ship in order to get some money or something to clean up the server. If you want the servers to self-police, you have to add the quest to do that first. It's another instance of CIG getting ahead of themselves. And this isn't me trying to be all doom and gloom, it's the reality of the situation right now in the PTU. And yes, I understand, it's just a PTU. It's just a PTU. This is an actual problem. And I don't think they're going to fix it. Look at their track record. I sincerely don't think they're going to fix it. Well, even if we could scavenge the ships, it wouldn't even matter because you can't get a scavenger ship in. Oh, unless, and this is just me joking here and being a party pooper. Oh, well, you know, you could buy these hexagonal plates for your vulture and it can go fly in there and you'll be fine. Those are things that I genuinely get scared about now. And the fact that the hexagonal plates are actual design choices, you know, that scares me a little bit. And I know I'm sitting over here like, the hexagons, but like, again, used to be a joke. I don't know anymore. So yeah, as of right now, this new activity could be really cool. It really could be, but there are a few things standing in the way, which is all of the shit getting left everywhere, ships and armor included, and the server FPS just fucking tanking because of it. I can't enjoy the new activity. I can't feasibly even try the new activity because, you know what, the last time I went there, a fucking Idris came out of nowhere and blew up every fucking ship on the pad with a torpedo, and you know what that did? It crashed everyone's game because that's just how much shit was there. There was like 3 Polarises, like a couple Cutlasses, etc., 2 tacks even, and the Idris just blew it all up with a torpedo because why not? Or maybe they were trying to clean things up, but inadvertently crashed everyone's game. And please, for the love of God, let this turret thing be a fucking bug. If they come out and say that this is intended gameplay and that it's just not fully implemented yet, I'm going to be very upset. I'm sorry. Eat your heart out. Soloing ships is not a good idea. Engineering could not come sooner. This is probably one of the worst PTUs that I've played in a very long time, and I'm sure there will be people who are like, I've been with the game ever since and this was actually the worst PTU in my opinion, not this one. Okay, cool. I'm just saying the one that I've played. Another worry comes into play with that. We're like, sure, okay, maybe they'll fix the issues before it comes to live. Here's the thing. When I was told with 4.11's PTU was coming out to, you know, be a little cautious, because I was saying, oh, you know, this is the best the game has ever ran for me in a very long time. You know, the feedback of buttons is just really nice. To actually just click a button or walk up to a door and it just does the thing is so fucking amazing, and it feels great. And everyone's like, no, this is just PTU, you know, it's not gonna be like this when it comes to live. And then it came out that way to live, and I was pleasantly surprised. I feel like this is gonna be the other way around, where it's like everyone's like, oh, they're gonna fix it before it comes to live. What if they don't? Has anyone thought about that yet? What if it is just this way? And I play with a couple people that simply don't have the biggest hardware, and when they come into this area and because of the sheer mass graveyard of ships, they just instantly crash. I get worried. And I hope they're not setting a precedent of how fucking stubborn they are when it comes to persistence. There has to be a line here. Persistence isn't as good as you want it to be, and you're pushing it to its fucking limits. And everyone's seeing it. There has to be a line, and I feel like it needs to be drawn now. If the PTU continues to be this bad and they do not fix this issue, I sincerely hope they scrap the update. And that's coming from a person that was really excited for this update, you know? And yeah, it's in alpha, you know, so we can't really complain, right? You know, when the game becomes unplayable and they refuse to turn around on things, you know. But you know what? Fuck you, I'm still gonna complain. Anyways, you know, that's been my Star Citizen talk, I guess. I really sincerely hope this gets fixed. Feel free to get mad at me in the comments and be like, oh, way, you know, you're just a crybaby or whatever. It's just, this is my genuine opinion. I wish nothing but the best for CIG, but sometimes their decisions when it comes to making their game really upset me. there has to be a line with persistence, and it has to be now. Stay awesome, stay great, stay beautiful, and see y'all out there.